The alien market was full of noise, shouting, laughing, bargaining. Under a red sun, many traders stood behind metal cages. They sold strange things, machines, animals, and even people. One cage stood alone. Inside was a girl not human. Her skin was pale blue. Her arms were thin like sticks. Her hair was dirty, and her back had old scars. Her head stayed low. She didn't speak. She didn't cry. She only sat still, like a broken toy. A tall alien trader shouted, 10 credits, only 10, for this weak, useless thing. People laughed. She's not worth even 5. A fat alien sighed. She looks dead already. Another one joked. The girl didn't move. She had stopped hoping long ago. She didn't care who bought her. No one was kind. Every owner hit her, used her, and threw her away. She waited for it to end. Then someone stepped forward. Boots clicked on the metal floor. A human man stood in front of the cage. He wore a black coat. His face was calm, quiet. The trader smiled. Ah, human, want to try a cheap toy? Only 10 credits. The human looked at the girl. He didn't laugh. He didn't speak. He knelt down. His eyes met hers. She looked up just for a second. His eyes were not cruel, not empty. They had something different. The human said one word. Her. The trader blinked. What? I'll take her. The crowd went silent for a moment. Then they laughed again. Crazy human. 10 credits for trash. But the human took a small chip from his coat and held it out. 10 credits. Paid. The trader took it, smiling wide. All yours. Don't cry later. The cage door opened. The girl didn't move. She waited to be hit, shouted at, dragged. But the human didn't touch her. He stepped back and said, You can walk? She stared. His voice was soft now. Try. Slowly, with shaking legs, she stood. Her chains clinked as she moved. 1 step, 2 steps. Then she fell. The human caught her before she hit the ground. I've got you, he said. No one had ever said that to her before. He lifted her like she weighed nothing and walked out of the market. People watched. Some laughed, some whispered. But no one stopped him. The ship was quiet. Soft lights glowed on clean metal walls. The girl lay on a bed. Not chains, not cold floor. A bed. She blinked. Was this a dream? Her hands had bandages. Her clothes were clean. A warm blanket covered her. She sat up fast, scared. Where was she? Was this a new prison? The door opened. Human walked in, holding a tray. You're awake. He placed the tray down. It had food. Real food. Smelling good. She backed away, afraid. He didn't come closer. You're safe. Eat if you want. If not, that's okay too. She looked at him, then at the food. Her stomach growled. Slowly she picked up a spoon. Her hand shook. She ate fast too. Fast. He smiled a little. There's more if you want. She looked at him again. Her voice was dry, weak. But she asked, why? He tilted his head. Why what? Why buy me? He didn't answer right away. He sat down in a chair across from her. Because you were left to die, and no one cared. She stared. No one had ever cared. He continued, you were alone. I know that feeling. She didn't understand him. Not fully. But his voice felt real. Not fake. Not cold. What's your name? He asked. She shook her head. No name. Just number. 47. Do you want a name? She blinked. Can I? He nodded. You can have anything. But it starts with one thing. You're not a slave. Anymore. Her eyes filled with water. She didn't cry. Not yet. But something inside her cracked open. He stood up and turned to leave. Rest. We'll talk more later. Before the door closed, she asked, Your name? He looked back. You can call me John. Silence. The girl opened her eyes to it. No chains rattled. No screams. No orders. Only a soft hum, a low sound like a heartbeat, steady and calm. She lay in a soft bed. A light above her glowed like a small star. The air was warm, clean. She didn't smell blood. She didn't taste metal. This wasn't a cell. She sat up fast, heart racing. Where was she? Then she noticed. Her hands were free. No cuffs, no shock implants. Her skin was wrapped in white cloth. Clean, soft. On the table beside her bed, there was a glass of water. She stared at it like it was magic. A quiet sound. The door opened. He stepped in. The human. He still wore the same black coat. But now, without the noise of the market, he looked different. Not like a buyer, not like a master, like a ghost. Or a soldier. She pressed her back to the wall, afraid. Again, he raised one hand slowly, gently. It's okay. You're safe. Safe. She didn't know that word. Not really. He placed something on the table. Food again. But different this time. Simple. Smelled warm. You were asleep for a long time, he said. Almost 2 days. She didn't speak. You needed it. She looked at the food. Then back at him. Eat, he said. No tricks. No poison. Number. Games. She picked up the spoon. He turned and walked toward the door, then stopped. Do you remember your name yet? She shook her head. Only 47. Okay, he said. We'll fix that. He left, and the door closed behind him. Quietly. No. Locks clicked. She moved slowly through the ship. The hallway lights followed her, glowing as she walked. The floor was smooth, cold under her bare feet. Strange shapes lined the wall, symbols she didn't know. But the ship felt alive, not like a prison. More like a sleeping animal, big, watching. She found him in a room full of stars. The wall was glass or something like it. Outside, black space stretched forever. Distant stars blinked like tiny eyes. She had never seen space like this. It was beautiful. He sat in the chair, feet up, reading a small screen. She didn't speak, but he looked up anyway. You're curious, he said. She nodded. Good. Curiosity means you're still alive inside. She stepped closer, staring at the stars. Where are we? He pointed. Outer rim. Far from the Empire, far from the ones who made you. Her shoulders tensed. I saw the scars, he said. I ran a scan. You have tech in you. Deep inside. She froze. He held up a hand. I didn't touch anything. Not yet. But I know what they did. They turned you into something else. She looked down. Shame. Fear. You're not a machine, he said. You're not trash. You were made for war, but that doesn't mean you can't choose peace. She didn't understand all his words, but his voice. It made something inside her stop shaking. She asked, Why did you save me? He didn't answer right away. Then he said, Because someone once saved me. I didn't believe them either. Not at first. They stood in silence. Then she whispered, What will you do with me? He looked at her, not with anger, not with pity. With purpose. I'll help you, he said, if you let me. Why? Because I don't think you're just a weapon. I think you're something they didn't plan. 4. I think you're important. Her heart beat faster. Important? He nodded. You just don't know it yet. Later that night, she dreamed. Fire, screams, lights flashing. A blue star exploding. She woke up sweating, gasping. She had bitten her lip. Blood dripped down her chin. She sat up and looked at her hands. They were shaking. But not weak. Something inside her was changing. She looked at the door, where John had left earlier. And for the first time, she whispered a word, not a number. A name. Not hers. His. John. The light in her room was dim. She stood in front of a mirror, silent, staring. She had never looked at herself this long before. Not really. Her skin was blue, but not smooth. Thin lines covered her back, arms, and neck. Not natural lines. Not from birth. These were cuts. Deep, straight, almost perfect. Scars. Some were from pain. Others were something else. Numbers, symbols, tiny dots, almost invisible. She traced them with her fingers. Not memories. Maps. John watched her from the control room. He didn't spy, he just stayed close. Something about her felt bigger then. He understood. She had stopped flinching when he entered a room. She didn't run. But she didn't fully trust him yet. That was okay. Trust took time. He tapped the screen in front of him. A hologram floated up. Her scan. It looked like a storm. Wires buried deep in her spine. Metal threads in her skull. Hidden chips near her heart. Advanced tech. Bioweapons grade. Illegal in every known system. She wasn't just hurt. She was changed. Had turned her into something between a person and a machine. And yet, she was still human enough to cry in her sleep. That night, she came to him. Her voice was quiet. "I want to know." He looked up. "Know what?" "What they did to me." He nodded once. "All right. Sit down." She did. He turned the screen so she could see. "These are scans of your body. I found hidden implants. You were modified on purpose." "Why? I don't know yet, but I can guess." She waited. "You're a prototype. Maybe the first. Maybe the only one." She touched the back of her neck. "I feel cold there. Like metal. There is metal." She didn't look surprised. He showed her a blinking light on the scan. "This part, it's locked. Like a sealed box. Could be memories." "Could be." "Commands," she asked. "Can you open it?" "I could try. But it might hurt you." She thought for a moment, then said, "Do it." The lab room was quiet. She lay on the table, eyes closed. Breathing calm, John stood beside her. A thin wire connected his tablet to the port near her neck. "Ready?" he asked. "Do it," she said again. He tapped the screen. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then her body shook. Her eyes snapped open, and she remembered. Flashes, voices. Fire, a white room, needles, cold hands. They called her Unit 0. They said she was special, the first of her kind. They said she would end wars, break armies, obey orders without question. One man stood above all the others. Tall, dark. Uniform, sharp voice. "Remember this name," he said. Cyrix Prime. Then she saw it. A blue star, exploding. A planet burning. She was floating above it in a ship. Her hand was on a screen. She had pressed the command. And then, everything went black. She woke up screaming. John grabbed her shoulders. "You're okay, it's over." Tears ran down her face. I did it," she whispered. "I destroyed a world." "No," he said firmly. "They made you. But I pressed the button." "You didn't know what you were doing," she sobbed. "So many died." John held her tighter. "They used you like a tool. But you're not a tool anymore." She looked at him. "How do you know that?" "Because tools don't cry," he said. "And monsters don't ask why." Asterisk. The ship felt colder now. Not because of space. Because of truth. She sat alone in the dark, hugging her knees. No chains held her down, but her memories did. Burning planets. Screaming voices, her hand. Pressing the final command she had destroyed. Cyrix Prime. And she remembered every second. John watched the stars outside the ship. He didn't speak much that day. Neither did she. But silence can be loud when the past won't let go. When he finally spoke, his voice was low. "I was there." She looked up from the corner. Her eyes were red. "Cyrix Prime," he said. "I was one of the soldiers sent to help, but we were too late." She didn't move. He turned around slowly. "I saw the sky burn. Saw people trying to run. Families, children." A pause. "You were in the sky, weren't you?" She nodded, ashamed. "I was on the ground." The words hung between them like a knife. She whispered, "Why are you helping me? If you lost people because of me." John stared at her for a long time. His face didn't show hate. Just tiredness. "Because it wasn't you." She looked away. No child chooses to become a weapon, he said. They made you. They aimed you. But they didn't break you. A small voice rose from her lips. Then why do I feel broken? He knelt beside her. Because you still care. That night, the ship's alarm beeped. Soft. Steady. John checked the screen. Unknown signal. Someone's trying to track us. She came up behind him. Who? I don't know, but they're good. They found our ship through hidden channels. Her hands shook. They know I'm alive? Looks like it. A message popped up. Number. Name. Just 2 words. Unit 0. John turned to her. You said you remembered names. Did anyone call themselves something specific? She closed her eyes, thinking hard, then opened them. Dr. Hess. John's face changed. You know him? She asked. He wasn't just a doctor, John said. He was the Empire's top weapons engineer. He disappeared right after the Cyrix Prime attack. Her voice trembled. He was the one who built me. John paced. If he's trying to reach out now, it means you're more important than we thought, she whispered. I don't want to go back. You won't, but if he finds me, he won't, John said sharply. Not while you're with me. John opened a private line to an old friend, a woman named Captain Vera, once a rebel fighter, now a data hunter living in the shadows. Her face appeared on the screen. John, haven't heard from you in years. What's wrong? I have something. Someone. Her eyes narrowed. Empire trouble? Worse, she remembers Cyrix Prime. Vera's smile vanished. You're serious? She was there. She saw who gave the order. Vera leaned forward. John, if what you say is true, they'll kill anyone who knows. Fast and quiet. I need data. Anything on Project Zero. Vera sighed. It'll cost you. I'm not asking for free. Just hurry. He shut the call. She stood behind him, quiet. Still, I don't want to remember more, she said, but we need answers, he replied, to stop them from doing this again. She looked down at her hands. I'm scared of who I was. John turned to her. Then let's find out who you can become. The lights went out. No warning. No sound. Just sudden, heavy darkness. Then the ship shook once, hard, like something hit it from outside. John dropped his tools and ran to the command deck. She was already there. No fear in her eyes. Just silence. Status? She asked. He checked the screen. No message. No ID. But someone's locking onto us. Fast. She moved closer. It's them. John nodded. They found us. Outside the window, space looked calm. Peaceful, but peace is always quiet until the first shot is fired. A shadow appeared. Big, black, sleek like a hunter. No flags, no lights, no sound. Stealth ship. Empire tech. Not here to talk. John slammed his hand on the controls. Strapping in. They're faster, but we've got brains. The engines roared. The ship jumped forward like a bird dodging a bullet. Behind them, the hunter followed. She held the wall with both hands. Can we outrun them? No, he said. But maybe we can outthink them. They raced through a dead zone. No planets, no signals. Just empty black dot. Then John turned hard toward an old asteroid field. Won't they follow? She asked. They will, he said. But they'll wish they didn't. The ship spun, dipped, slid between massive rocks. Behind them, the enemy followed, less smooth, more violent. They clipped an asteroid. Sparks flew. John smiled. Chasing's easy. Surviving's the real game. Then the ship took a hit. Direct. The blast threw them sideways. Lights flashed red. She flew across the room, hit the wall. Pain shot through her back, but not normal pain. Something inside her flickered, like a switch. She stood up slowly, her hands glowing faint blue. John stared. Your implants? I don't know, she said. It just turned on. Then don't fight it, he said. Use it. She ran to the engine room. The power was failing. The core was breaking down. She touched the main conduit. A bright spark. The ship shook. Again, but this time, the lights came back on, stronger. The engines whined like wild dogs ready to bite. John's voice came through the speaker. "Whatever you just did, do it again." She smiled for the first time. "I didn't know I could." The hunter ship fired again. Too close now. One more hit and they were done. John looked at the nav screen. "Hold on." He pulled the ship into a dive straight into the heart of a broken moon. Dust, debris, spinning rocks, death. Perfect hiding place. They dodged through cracks in the moon's surface, slipping through ancient metal frames from a forgotten war. The hunter ship slowed. Searching. Waiting. Watching. Inside the dark moon. John powered down everything. No light. No signal. Just breath. And waiting. She stood beside him. "They'll find us," he whispered. "Not if we become ghosts." For a moment, the ship was just a piece of metal among thousands. But ghosts can't hide forever. A red light blinked on the wall. Silent alarm. Someone was inside. Not on their ship. Inside the moon. And moving toward them. The walls were breathing. Not really, but that's how it felt. The inside of the dead moon was quiet. Too quiet. No sound but their footsteps. No wind. No light. Just metal. Old, cold. Watching, she walked beside John, her hand resting on the wall. It felt familiar. Wrong kind of familiar. "Someone built this place," she whispered. "Yeah," John said, "but not for living." The hallway opened into a wide chamber. Massive. Metal pillars reached up like dead trees. Broken screens flickered on the walls. Symbols blinked in patterns she couldn't read, yet somehow she understood them. "What is this place?" she asked. John scanned the walls. Military, hidden, old Empire base, maybe pre-war tech. Looks abandoned. She walked forward. Then the lights turned on one by one, following her path. John stepped back. "You didn't touch anything." "I didn't have to." At the center of the room stood a console. Round, rusted, dead. She placed her hand on it. The machine came alive. A soft hum, lights, moving gears, then a voice. "Command level confirmed." "Welcome, Unit 0. John froze. She stared at the screen. "Why does it know me?" "Because this place wasn't just a base," John said. "It was yours." She stepped back. "I don't remember." "You don't need to. Your body does." The console showed a map, stars, routes, targets. It wasn't just one mission. There were dozens cities, colonies, whole systems. She had been trained, no, programmed, to destroy them all, but it never happened. The missions were marked, aborted. John looked closer. Why were they stopped? Then he saw the last entry. Final order. Unit 0 to be erased. Suddenly, the chamber shook. Doors behind them slammed shut. Lights turned red. Defense mode. "Someone triggered the system," John said. "No," she replied, eyes locked on the Phison console. "I did." She turned to him. "They gave me one last order, but I didn't follow it. I ran. And they've been hunting you ever since." She nodded. A new screen opened. Live feed. A figure entered the moon's outer tunnel, moving fast, alone. John zoomed in. Tall, armored, face hidden. Not human. But he wasn't walking like a soldier. He was scanning, searching, looking for her. John cursed. "They sent in a cleaner. Not a squad, just one. Means he's dangerous." She stared at the screen, then back at the console. "Can this base still defend itself?" She asked. "Maybe. If you can access full command. I don't want to run anymore." John's eyes narrowed. "You're going to fight?" She didn't answer. She just walked to the console, placed her hand again, and gave a voice command. "Unit 0 requesting full access." The machine paused. Then, voice print confirmed. Command accepted. Weapons online. Walls open. Old guns folded out. Energy HUMMED. The base wasn't dead. Just waiting. John smiled for the first time in hours. You really were built to lead. She didn't smile back. Not built, she said. Forced. Then her eyes turned cold. But now, I choose. The door exploded inward. Smoke, sparks, silence. Then boots. Slow, heavy. The cleaner stepped into the command chamber. Tall, covered in black armor, his face hidden behind a metal mask. Eyes red, cold. He looked at her. Not John. The guns, just her. Unit 0, he said. His voice sounded like a machine. Final command, submit or be deleted. She did not move. Behind her, the old base was awake, guns ready, shields glowing, walls humming with power. But she didn't raise a weapon. She stepped forward. John reached for his blaster. Don't, she raised one hand to stop him. No more running, she said. No more hiding. The cleaner tilted his head. You disobeyed orders. You remember who you are? I do, she said. Then you know what you were made for. She nodded. To destroy. The cleaner lifted his weapon. She didn't blink. Then she spoke. But I wasn't born to destroy. I was born. The gun fired. She moved faster than light. Her arm raised, glowing with blue light. The blast hit her hand and stopped. Energy split, danced, then vanished. She stared at the cleaner. You used me. You were a tool, he said. Nothing more. She stepped closer. No, she said. I was a child. The base's lights grew brighter. Power built around her like a storm. John backed away, shielding his face. She stood tall now, shoulders back, eyes glowing. Not broken. Not afraid. Alive. And angry. She raised her hand, but she didn't fire. Instead, she said one word. End. The base heard her. The system responded. Final override. Destruction protocol canceled. Missiles shut down. Cannons powered. Off. The base returned to silence. The cleaner stared. You refuse? I choose, she said. I choose to stop the chain. It ends with me. He stepped forward to kill her. John fired. One shot. Right through the mask. The cleaner dropped. Metal clanged against stone. Done. Later, they stood outside the moon. The stars looked different now. Brighter. She held something in her hands. A small badge, rusted, old. John gave it to her. A name tag, not a number. It read. Lyra. She looked at him. Is that mine? He nodded. Found it in the system. It was your name before they changed you. Lyra, she said slowly. I like it. John smiled. Told you. 10 credits well spent. She laughed. Really laughed. For the first time in her life.